David fooled everyone, but not me. Ethan's secrets exposed his lies. We recorded his confession. Then I got a chilling message. My name's Emma, and I'm 16, living in Portland, Oregon, where the rain never seems to stop. My life used to feel like a cozy sweater, wrapped up in my best friend Sarah and my boyfriend Ethan. Sarah and we were like sisters. We'd text about everything stupid stuff like what we ate for lunch or who flirted with who in math class. She knew all my secrets, like how I'd sneak extra coffee from the shop on Belmont Street. Ethan, he was my first love, the kind that makes your heart race just hearing his voice. We'd hang out at Powell's Books, flipping through comics, laughing until our sides hurt. The three of us, we were a team, sharing dumb jokes and late-night pizza runs. But that was before everything fell apart, before Sarah ghosted me, before Ethan's death shattered my world. It started in sophomore year at Lincoln High. Sarah and I were inseparable, always planning our next adventure, like sneaking into concerts at the Crystal Ballroom. Ethan fit right in, his goofy smile making even the worst days better. But home was different. My stepdad, David, moved in after Mom remarried. He was all charm, coaching Little League, volunteering at church, the kind of guy everyone in Portland loved, but something about him always felt off. His smile never reached his eyes, and he'd watch me too closely, like he was waiting for me to mess up. Mom, she just drank her wine and pretended everything was fine, even when David's temper slipped out. When Ethan and I broke up, it wasn't dramatic, just typical teenage stuff. We were on and off, like a flickering streetlight. Sarah was my rock, listening to me cry over FaceTime, sending me playlists to cheer me up. But then Ethan took his own life. It was Christmas 2020, and I was unwrapping gifts when Sarah called. Her voice was shaky, barely a whisper. Emma, it's Ethan. He's gone. She hung up before I could ask anything. I stood there, my heart pounding, the room spinning. My parents were downstairs, laughing over eggnog, oblivious to the way my world just cracked open. I locked myself in the bathroom, scrolling through Ethan's last texts, looking for answers that weren't there. After that, Sarah vanished from my life. No texts, no calls, nothing. I'd see her at school, but she'd duck into classrooms or turn away, like I was invisible. It hurt worse than the breakup, worse than anything. I kept thinking, what did I do? Was she mad at me? I sent her messages, left notes in her locker, even dropped off her favorite snacks, those spicy chips from the corner store on Hawthorne. Nothing worked. My grades tanked. I'd sit in class, staring out the gray Oregon sky, feeling like I was drowning. At home, David got worse, snapping at me for every little thing, while Mom just looked away. I started to wonder if Sarah knew something about Ethan's death, something she couldn't tell me. The thought gnawed at me, like a splinter I couldn't pull out. Something was wrong, terribly wrong, and I was determined to find out what. Sarah's silence hit me harder than Ethan's death, if that's even possible. I'd lost my first love, my anchor, and now my best friend was gone too. It was January 2021, and Lincoln High's halls felt like a maze of whispers and sideways glances. I'd see Sarah by her locker, her dark hair tucked behind her ear, but the second our eyes met, she'd bolt. My texts went unanswered, piling up like unread letters. Hey, you okay? Did I do something? Sarah, please. Nothing. I started leaving notes in her locker, scribbled please for answers, even slipped in her favorite spicy chips from the Hawthorne store. Once, I left a basket of instant noodles outside her door, hoping she'd at least talk to me. She never did. It was like I'd become a ghost in my own life. At home, things were no better. David's temper grew sharper, his voice cutting through the house like a knife. Stop moping, Emma. You're bringing everyone down, he'd snap, while Mom just sipped her wine, eyes fixed on the TV. I'd catch her glancing at me, but she never said a word. It was like I was invisible to her too. I started hiding in my room, scrolling through old photos of Ethan, Sarah, and me at the waterfront, laughing under the Portland lights. My chest ached, like someone was pressing down on it every time I saw Ethan's smile. I kept wondering, what did I miss? Why didn't he tell me he was hurting? I couldn't shake the feeling that Sarah knew something. She'd been there for me through every breakup with Ethan, always ready with a joke or a hug. But now, her absence felt like betrayal. I started replaying our last conversations, searching for clues. Had she been acting weird before Ethan's death? I remembered her being quieter, distracted, but I'd been too wrapped up in my own drama to notice. Now, it felt like a puzzle piece I couldn't place. One day, I saw her in the cafeteria, sitting with kids I barely knew. I walked over, my heart pounding, but she grabbed her tray and left without a word. The others at the table stared, one girl whispering, "That's Ethan's crazy ex." My face burned, and I fled to the bathroom, locking myself in a stall. Tears stung my eyes as I leaned against the cold wall, trying to breathe. Crazy ex? Was that what people thought? I hadn't even done anything. Desperate, I started digging. I checked Ethan's old Instagram, still up, his last post a blurry shot of the Willamette River. The comments were full of condolences, but one from Sarah caught my eye. "I'm so sorry, E. I didn't know." Didn't know what? I scrolled through her profile, but she'd stopped posting months ago. Her last photo was of us at a concert, arms around each other, smiling. I stared at it until my vision blurred, wondering how we'd gone from that to this. At home, David's control tightened. He'd check my phone, claiming it was to keep me safe. Mom just nodded, like it was normal. Once he grabbed my wrist, leaving a faint bruise. "You're too emotional, Emma. Get it together." I pulled away, my stomach twisting, and locked myself in the bathroom, the only place I felt safe. I'd sit on the edge of the tub, reading old texts from Ethan, searching for answers. "You're my everything," he'd written once. Then why did he leave me? I started leaving baskets at Sarah's house, chips, soda, little notes saying, "I miss you." Her mom would answer the door, looking nervous, saying Sarah wasn't home, but I saw her bedroom light on, the soft glow of her star lamp through the curtains. It felt like a slap. I stopped by one night, rain soaking my hoodie, and knocked. Her mom opened the door, eyes wide. Emma, you shouldn't be here, she whispered, glancing behind her. Please, go. I stood there, drenched, my heart sinking. What's happening to her? School became a battlefield. Whispers followed me, rumors about Ethan, about me. I overheard a girl in gym class say I'd pushed him too far. My grades plummeted. I couldn't focus. At night, I'd lie awake, the Portland rain tapping my window, wondering if Sarah's silence was tied to Ethan's death. The thought kept me up, gnawing at me like a dog with a bone. I needed answers, but everyone, Sarah, Mom, even David, seemed to be hiding something. I felt alone, trapped in a storm with no way out, but I wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. The rain never stopped in Portland, and neither did my need for answers. I couldn't shake the feeling that Sarah's silence was tied to Ethan's death. It was like a knot in my stomach, tightening with every unanswered text. I started digging deeper, alone in my room, the glow of my laptop the only light in the dark. I went back to Ethan's Instagram, scrolling through comments, looking for anything I'd missed. That's when I saw it again. Sarah's cryptic message. I'm so sorry, E. I didn't know. My heart raced. Didn't know what. I needed more. I remembered Ethan and I had shared passwords once, during one of our forever phases. On a whim, I tried his old email login, his dog's name, Scout, plus the year we met. My hands shook as it worked. His inbox was a mess of spam and school stuff, but then I found a folder labeled D. My breath caught. Inside were emails between Ethan and Sarah, sent during one of our breakups. They were vague, full of code words. One email from Sarah read, "Did you tell anyone about D's situation?" Ethan replied, "No, too risky. Call me." My mind spun. Who was D? I thought of David, my stepdad, but it seemed crazy. Or was it? I kept digging, my eyes burning from staring at the screen. Another email mentioned D pressuring Ethan, saying things like, "Keep quiet or it'll get worse." My stomach churned. Was David involved? The thought made me sick, but I couldn't stop. I forwarded the emails to myself, then deleted the evidence from Ethan's sent folder, terrified David might somehow know. At home, he was worse than ever, checking my phone, hovering. Once he grabbed my arm, his grip tight. "Stop sneaking around, Emma," he said, eyes cold. I yanked away, heart pounding, and locked myself in the bathroom again, my only safe place. I needed to talk to Sarah, but she was a ghost. Then, one day at school, I ran into Claire, her cousin, in the library. Claire was a junior, quiet but kind. I cornered her by the stacks, my voice low. "Claire, what's going on with Sarah? Why won't she talk to me?" She hesitated, glancing around like someone might be watching. "Emma, it's not you. She's scared. Someone's threatening her." My heart stopped. "Who?" Claire bit her lip. She wouldn't say, just that it's someone powerful, who could hurt people she loves. "She's been hiding at my place in Gresham." I pressed her, but she shook her head, eyes wide with fear. "That's all I know. Be careful, Emma." Her words haunted me. That night, I lay awake, the rain drumming on my window, piecing it together. Ethan's emails, Sarah's fear, David's control, it all pointed to him. I started replaying memories. David had always been too nice to Ethan, offering rides, helping with homework. I'd thought it was just him playing the perfect stepdad, but now it felt sinister. Had he manipulated Ethan? Hurt him? The thought made my skin crawl. I remembered Ethan's mood swings, how he'd pull away, saying he was fine when he clearly wasn't. I'd been too wrapped up in our drama to see it. I started a journal, scribbling every detail I could recall: David's late-night coaching meetings, the way he'd linger around Ethan, the bruises on my arm. I hid it under my mattress, checking it daily to make sure David hadn't found it. One night, I overheard him on the phone, his voice low. "She's asking too many questions. Keep her out of it." My blood ran cold. Was he talking about me? Or Sarah? I couldn't tell Mom. She'd just defend him, like always. I felt trapped, like the walls of our Portland house were closing in. I went back to Claire, desperate. We met at a coffee shop on Division Street, rain streaking the windows. "I think it's David," I whispered, my hands shaking around my latte. Claire's eyes widened. "Your stepdad? Emma, that's serious." I showed her the emails, my voice cracking. "He was manipulating Ethan, maybe worse, and Sarah knows something." Claire nodded slowly. She mentioned someone with power, someone who could ruin lives. "If it's him, you need proof." I knew she was right, but the idea of facing David terrified me. Still, I couldn't let this go. Ethan deserved justice, and Sarah deserved to be free. I started watching David closer, noting his habits. He'd leave his phone unlocked sometimes, and I'd sneak glances, but found nothing concrete. One day, I saw him delete a text before Mom could see it. My heart raced. Was it evidence? I needed Sarah's help, but getting to her was risky. Claire said she'd try to arrange a meeting, but warned me to stay safe. "He's dangerous, Emma. Don't underestimate him." I nodded, my throat tight, but I was done being afraid. I'd lost Ethan, lost Sarah, lost my sense of safety. I wasn't losing this fight too. I couldn't sleep anymore, not with the truth clawing at me. The Portland rain battered my window, but it was nothing compared to the storm inside my head. David was the key to everything: Ethan's death, Sarah's silence, the fear that choked us all. I needed proof, something solid to expose him. Claire agreed to help, and we reached out to Sarah, who was still hiding at her cousin's place in Gresham. It took 2 buses and a long walk through the drizzle to meet her at a diner on Powell Boulevard. When I saw her, my heart broke. Sarah looked exhausted, her eyes red, her hands trembling around her coffee cup. "Emma, I'm so sorry," she whispered, tears spilling. "He threatened you. I had to stay away." I grabbed her hand, my own eyes burning. "Who, Sarah?" "David?" She nodded, barely able to speak. "He's dangerous. He got to Ethan, and now he's watching me." Sarah told me everything. During one of my breakups with Ethan, David had pulled him into his orbit, acting like a mentor, offering advice, rides, even cash, but it turned dark. David started asking for favors, personal stuff, things Ethan didn't want to do. When Ethan resisted, David threatened me, saying he'd hurt me if Ethan spoke out. Sarah found out when Ethan confided in her. Desperate, she urged him to report it, but David somehow knew. He sent Sarah Sarah threatening texts, saying he'd ruin her family if she talked. That's why she ghosted me to protect me. My stomach twisted, guilt and rage mixing. Ethan had been trapped, and I hadn't seen it. We needed evidence, something undeniable. Claire suggested a sting. We can use my phone, she said. David doesn't track it. We crafted careful messages, pretending to be a scared friend of Claire's, someone David might target. My hands shook as we typed, trying to sound convincing without tipping him off. I know what you did, we wrote. I have proof. Meet me to talk. It felt wrong, like we were stepping into his twisted game, but we had no choice. Sarah's face was pale, but she nodded. For Ethan, she said. I swallowed hard, nodding back. We sent the messages from a burner app, hoping David would bite. He did. His reply came fast. Name a place. This better be worth my time. We chose a park near Mount Tabor, public but quiet, where we could record him without being obvious. Claire's girlfriend Mia worked at a legal aid office and knew a detective who could help. Detective Lopez was no nonsense, her eyes sharp as she listened to our story. This is risky, she warned, but if you're willing, we can wire you up. My heart pounded, but I agreed. Sarah and Claire did too. We were in this together. The day of the confrontation, my nerves were shot. The park was gray and misty, the air heavy with damp. We wore tiny recorders under our jackets, tested by Lopez's team. She'd be nearby with officers, ready to step in if things went south. We sat on a bench, trying to look casual, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. When David showed up, his face was all fake concern, like he was playing the perfect stepdad. What's this about, girls? He asked, sitting across from us. His eyes flicked to Sarah, narrowing. You shouldn't be here. Claire took the lead, her voice steady. We know what you did to Ethan. We have his emails. David's jaw tightened, but he laughed, cold and sharp. Ethan was messed up. You're grasping at straws. I couldn't stay quiet. You threatened him, I said, my voice low but firm. You made him do things, told him you'd hurt me if he didn't. David leaned forward, his smile gone. Careful, Emma. You don't know what you're talking about. Sarah slid her phone across the table, showing a screenshot of his threatening texts. We do, and we're not scared anymore. For a second, panic flashed in his eyes. Then he leaned back, smirking. You think anyone will believe you? I'm a respected coach. You're just kids with a grudge. My blood boiled, but I kept going. What about the other boys? The ones you targeted through Ethan? His face froze, just for a moment, but it was enough. You don't have anything, he hissed. Evidence disappears. People forget. That was it, the slip we needed. The recorder caught every word. Then it all went sideways. That night, Mom found my journal, hidden in my old bookshelf. I thought it was safe, but she was looking for her lost necklace. She didn't come to me, she went straight to David. By the time I got home, he was waiting, eyes blazing. You're done, Emma, he said, holding my journal. You're making this up because you're broken. He tore pages out, tossing them into the fireplace. Mom just stood there, silent, as he threw me out. She's unstable, he told her. She needs help. I grabbed my backpack and ran, rain soaking me as I headed to Sarah's house. Her family took me in, despite their own fears. David started a smear campaign at school, telling everyone I was unhinged, blaming me for Ethan's death. Kids who'd once been friendly now avoided me, whispering in the halls. I felt like I was suffocating, but Sarah, Claire, and I didn't stop. We had the recording, some emails, and our testimonies. Mia helped us organize it, warning us it might not be enough. He's connected, she said. You need to be airtight. We went to Detective Lopez, who listened, her face grim. This is enough to start, she said, but it's going to be a fight. I nodded, my throat tight. I'd lost so much, but I wasn't losing this. Not to him. Detective Lopez moved fast after our confrontation. The recording, combined with Ethan's emails and our testimonies, was enough to arrest David. It happened quietly, outside his office in downtown Portland. I wasn't there, but Sarah called me, her voice shaky with relief. They got him, Emma. I sank onto my Aunt Rachel's couch, tears streaming down my face. For the first time in months, I could breathe. Rachel, my mom's sister, had taken me in after David threw me out. Her small apartment in Selwood, filled with plants and old vinyl records, felt like a sanctuary. She didn't push me to talk, just left mugs of tea by my bed and let me cry. The news hit Lincoln High like a shockwave. Some teachers whispered support, others avoided my eyes. Kids who'd called me crazy now looked away, ashamed. David's arrest made the local news, and more boys came forward, their stories eerily similar to Ethan's. Each one felt like a stab, but also a strange kind of hope Ethan's truth was finally out. My mom, though, was a mess. She called me sobbing, saying she didn't know. How could I miss this? She asked. I wanted to scream that she'd chosen him over me, but I just hung up. Our relationship is still broken, maybe forever. Sarah and I rebuilt our friendship piece by piece. We'd meet at Rachel's, sharing coffee and tears, talking about Ethan. We made a memorial for him at school, a small garden by the library, with a bench where we'd sit, remembering his laugh. Claire joined us sometimes, her quiet strength holding us together. We called ourselves survivors, meeting weekly to remind each other it wasn't our fault. Guilt still hit hard. Could I have saved Ethan if I'd seen the signs? But Rachel told me, you were a kid, Emma. He was the adult. This is on him. David's trial is pending, and I know it won't be easy. Some in Portland still defend him, calling us liars, but the truth is out, and that's enough for now. I'm still healing, waking up some nights with panic clawing my chest, Ethan's face in my dreams, but I'm stronger than I was. I'm applying to colleges, looking at psychology programs in Seattle or Eugene, wanting to help kids like us. Last week, I visited Ethan's grave, leaving his favorite sour candy by the stone. I told him we got David, that he wasn't alone anymore. The wind rustled the trees, and I hoped he heard me. Sarah, Claire, and I were not the same. We carry scars, but we're free. Breaking David's silence gave us that. Some days I still feel the rain, heavy and cold, but I'm learning to find light in it too.